Welcome back to Franchise Hockey Manager 10 with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So it's the start of the 2027-2028 season, and we're just looking to see if anyone retires, and look at that. Crosby ends up retiring, so we end up having to go into full rebuild mode. That is kind of disappointing, though. Crosby ends up retiring, and just looking at his stats, though, he ends his career with 1,838 points in 18 games. 669 goals and almost 1,200 assists. So 1,169 assists there in the NHL. Let's look at how well he does in terms of the history, though. He does cement himself as second best, though. I guess he didn't want to come in for another season and beat Lemieux. But even his last season was pretty good. Blomqvist's save percentage is actually number 2 now in franchise, so that's actually really good. We might have to remember that throughout the season, but how old is he? He is 25, so that is the cutoff. So I did create the rule afterwards. If Crosby retires, anyone under the age of 25 is going to end up having to be let go. Obviously, there's some exceptions that I'll mention in a little bit. Yeah, so congratulations on Crosby. Obviously, we're going to retire your number. No one's ever going to play with 87 on our team, that's for sure. Then Malkin retires as well. He's 40. He ends up hanging up his skates. Let's take a second to give homage to him as well. He ended up finishing his career with 1,429 points in 1,373 games. He should be in the Hall of Fame as well. I'm really hoping that they do it sooner rather than later, but we'll at least be here for that. So that's pretty good. We retire his number as well. No one will play 71 either, so we are happy for them. And then Russ figures after we end up buying him out, he decides to retire. So I wonder what happens with his money then. So should we still be on the hook for that? Is the real question. But I don't see any other retirements. So we'll take a quick look at our finances though. And Carlson's gonna have to go as well. So we're gonna have to trade Carlson. Letang, I guess we have to. We can probably buy him out today. We should probably buy him out though. I'm gonna guess, yeah. But Carlson has to go. Letang has to go. Oh no, Letang can stay actually. No, we won't buy him out. Korchinski stays. Smith will have to go. Bolivo will have to go. Bolivo can stay. Hudson can stay. And Steen can stay, obviously. And then let's look at the guys that are going to have to go. So that means immediately we have to get rid of Rantanen because he's over 25. Boldy just misses the cut, so he's going to have to go as well. Guentzel's going to stay, so he's the only exception. We're going to allow him to stay unless he decides that he wants to leave. New Hook has to go, even though we just signed him. McTavish is, I guess, the face of the franchise for the moment. Eklund can stay as well. Lockshow can stay. Hemming can stay. Brian, we just signed Jagger as well. So it looks like Jagger is going to probably be our top center there as well. So it's going to be a completely different look to this team, but here's where the real work starts. We do have to manage to find our franchise leader in the next 3 seasons. So we're going to trade everyone for picks. Rantanen's going to go as well, so we're going to see if we can give him to any team for first round picks, even though we don't have any currently. So it's going to be a very quick business just before the draft. But now that the draft is there, we're going to end up showing you who we end up drafting and what we're looking for when we're drafting as well. So before we didn't really focus on that because we didn't have any picks, but now we have to get all our picks back. And even next year we do as well. So over the next 3 years, it's the focus is to get a new leader of our team. It can't be New Hook, so it might even be Jagger. The player can still be on our team at the moment, but Yari we're probably going to get rid of as well. Blomqvist can stay because he's 25, so he can stay, and then Marashov's going to be our backup for now. But the whole rule is that we can't sign anyone above the age of 25, at least in terms of the rebuild phase. So until we find our franchise player, we can't do anything like that. Korchinski is probably going to be the franchise player most likely. But until then, we can't end up trading for players. We can only trade for picks. We can trade for rights as well, so that's a way around it. But we won't be able to get any high-named players anymore until we're in the rebuild. So we do have 5 years to make it to a final, and hopefully we can manage to do so. But it's going to be a lot harder said than done, especially when we have to start the rebuild immediately. So let's start the rebuild and see who we can get and who we can get rid of and what we can get for them. And let's see how good of a draft we can manage to do with limited picks for season one. But the clock's ticking, and unfortunately, we don't have much time to get the ball rolling here. So let's sim to that and see what we can do. So just before the draft, we managed to have the 7th pick and the 5th one. With the draft lottery, though, it did leave us at 7th, though, but it did bring us to 2nd. So we are currently the 2nd top spot there for a prospect. I'm going to give you a quick look at all the transactions we did. There was a decent amount of them. Transaction-wise, we did get rid of Rantanen. We only got him for a first-round pick, though, but I mean, desperate times. We gave him up to Philly, which was the pick that we managed to get for the 2nd overall there. So not too bad for a rebuild right away. And then New Hook we were able to get rid of for Edmonton. I did try and do heavy on Edmonton, especially with the contracts. So we got their first-round pick this year. Then Boldy we got rid of for a first-round pick to San Jose. And then Carlson, we gave him up back to San Jose as well for a first-round pick in the year after. So we're really hoping that Carlson really depreciates within the season, and the Sharks aren't as good as what they look like. So they could very well. Carlson and Boldy are both their top player, so I could easily see them still not doing well this season. And then we gave up Yari to Edmonton. Yari does command a pretty decent contract there. So he is going to have to be paid $5 million there. And then you also look at New Hook's contract, which isn't too bad though, but it's still around $5 million there. So they're going to have to get rid of some players, which I do like just in terms of the excitement of the NHL anyways. So that's kind of why I decided to target them. And then we got rid of Smith for a 3rd rounder. We gave him up to Florida. Florida currently is one of the worst teams in the NHL. So we do have a chance at getting it there. But we'll take a look at the draft and see who we can manage to get throughout this process. But as it stands, depth chart wise, we have 3 first rounders this year, and then Sharks next year. We have still our 2nd and 3rd for next year. So we did give up our first rounder before. I can't remember for who, but already we probably end up losing on that. If we did know that some of the players were available, or that Crosby was going to go, we might have signed an extension to those players, and maybe we could have had a full rebuild, but that isn't the nature of the game, and we decided to be a little bit more preemptive with it instead of signing players that we couldn't afford. But as it stands, if you look at the amount of contracts that we are paying, we're only paying around $37 million, and I think we do get an extra spot there. So we did go heavy on Perfetti, but I feel as though we're still not going to be able to get him. Perfetti is 25, so it's well within the rules though. But I mean, it will probably put a hamper into our contract negotiation, anyways. And we'll probably end up having to offload him later on, but we'll probably have to grab another player as well that's not very good, and just sign him to a ridiculous contract. What? Washington's top one now? Okay. It looks like Washington's the top one, so we might not even get Perfetti, which will be a little bit disappointing because we'll probably get rid of him probably at the beginning of next year, I guess. But all this is to flip. But currently our best player is Korchinski in terms of potential, though. But our best player is Guentzel, McTavish, and Korchinski. So those are our top 3. Let's go to the draft and see who we can manage to get, and let's see if how long it takes for us to rebuild this franchise. So here's the draft, and I'm pretty sure we screwed up because we didn't end up scouting people properly. Because if you end up looking at the draft order, or sorry, the mock draft, you have this guy who showing us our scouting is 3, and he's going to go 1st overall. So that does scare the crap out of me. Jacobson looks like he's the best player, but I mean, his determination is not high. Doesn't look like much of a scorer either, and that was the guy who we were going to probably pick 1st overall. So we'll take a look at who gets picked first, because this is going to be Dupovic. That was the guy that I was going to actually grab too. He's a 5-star potential, but that's a consensus. But our scouting only has him at 4. He's projected to be 4th overall. So the question is do we take a gamble now at Nilsson, even though we don't necessarily need a lefty right off the bat, or do we go? This guy doesn't look that good. Chichenko, and he's projected to be 2nd overall. So I don't know if they've messed up somehow with the drafting, but he's even only rated a 53 when he ends up playing. So I don't like that. I don't know if I want to go with the safe pick here. Maybe go with Jacobson first because he can play for us right away, and at least we can kind of develop him as we want. So, why does it say drafted by Tampa Bay Lightning? Oh, I guess it's mock draft. Okay, so we'll take a quick look we'll rotate between the two of them. But for our first pick, we're going to take Jacobson here. I feel as though it just seems like the safer pick. I could be shooting myself in the foot, but we'll pick until human and see who they end up picking. Lupin, which was a 4-star there, he's 28th. So I don't know if they fixed the drafting. I guess they might not have. 2A defenseman. This guy looks really good. If only we ended up finding Darby. He was projected to go 22nd. So yeah, it feels though everything's kind of messed up there. And then Justin McKinnon was the other guy that we were looking at, but he's only rated a 3.5. So we could easily make away with the best draft here. Rosenquist, I didn't even see him anywhere, and he was projected to be 3rd overall, so he ends up drafting as 6th. So, I mean, we could go Sather, who could play for us as well. His determination again is just okay, but he can play a decent amount. But again, we have Korchinski, so we do have to factor that in just a little bit. We did grab a first left winger there, so Cage Smith could be one of those guys that we end up looking a little bit more at. But you know, I'm gonna trust the mock draft here a little bit more than what I should. So let's go. Let's go Hilson, I guess. We'll learn very quickly whether or not this was a terrible decision. It's not even gonna let me draft him from here. So we'll have to. I guess we'll have to find him. Let's add him to draft list. Okay, we'll add all these guys to draft list. Wallman as well. We do need a goalie. Udella, Jacobson we already got. So a lot of goalies are apparently projected to be drafted. Even Broman looks decent. But we'll look at... we'll end up grabbing Nilsson. I feel as though we're going to regret this immediately. But he is only 18. Lefty, we'll see. And then at least we'll know after year 1 whether or not we need to scout much more, because we didn't scout at all. But all the guys that we had there are pretty much gone except for... When was this guy? This guy's a 3.5 star, but he was apparently projected to be 10th. His stats don't look good at all. This guy as well. So we'll probably end up holding off on them for as long as possible. This guy was mocked at 6, but I don't see anything that shows that he should be worth that. So I feel as though we already made our biggest mistake, probably, of this franchise with doing this. So Botel, do we need another? It has him as the consensus as a 2 there. Not even supposed to be drafted. So I think our scouting is just that bad. We do need to improve that. So we're gonna have to kind of bargain hop throughout this whole process. But because none of these guys look like they're all ready to start. Botel might be the better of the options, projected at 64, but this is a 27th pick, so we're really screwing this up pretty hard, I would say. This guy doesn't look too bad, but determination's a little bit low. He is a point shooter. We could probably get this guy later on. So we're gonna have to kind of hunt through what it is. This is kind of crappy. Alright, so we'll end up see what the scout suggestion is. And they're telling us to grab a goalie, which seems kind of off. We're not gonna do that. Mock draft wise, still safe suggestion would be Svensson, but Orchovsky, again a goalie that This seems like it's going to be the worst draft that we've ever managed to be a part of. So we're gonna have to go old school with this. Yeah, I'm gonna go based off of ability, hopefully. Forceman looks like he might be the best of all those. Acceleration's decent, speed's decent, determination's okay. Project to be 44th, so we are going to be reaching at him as well. But we do need a center, so he is 17 as well. So you know what, I'm going to grab Forceman. I'm probably going to regret that immediately, though. And it doesn't look like any of the guys that we're kind of looking at. Dubrovny, speed's good, determination's okay. 97 projected, though. We're currently in the third round, though, so it's around 60. We do need pretty much everything. Forstat still is one of the top guys that's being suggested for us. But again, I don't like the determination. The determination seems way too low. Brolin's determination's okay. Acceleration's okay. Counterattacking at 18. I do like that as well. Defensive read's good. Passing's good. Accelerate. So he could... Feels like he could play. We're going to go with Jonathan Brolin here. Gonna probably regret it. We don't need any more left wingers though. And I think it's gonna be a little while for our next pick here. Lefty, we probably don't need it. Wilkie seems interesting, but he is 20, so we're gonna hop that one. We're gonna go now with whatever potential it's showing here. Takak is the next guy. He was projected to be 90th, but we know that all those projections are terrible. So currently he is the top. We're gonna add the draft list here. And Koki, next one, doesn't look too good, I would say. Levko, we might need a right winger, but determination's way too low. I'm not even gonna touch that one. Hagland, another center. Determination's pretty decent actually. He was projected to be in the second round, so we're gonna go with Hagland here. Where is it? Yeah, Hagland. Only rated at 2 stars, so I think our scouts just suck. Takak ends up going. There's another Rantanen that ended up. Where did Takak go? I don't see it. I don't see where he ended up going. But he is gone, so Makokis is the other one there. Let's go with, let's see this guy. Temperament's okay, professionalism, but he doesn't have much to offer other than that. And Eddie Nilsson. Did we grab his brother? Up and down winger. Termination's, I mean, not the greatest, but not the worst either. He could be an up and down winger. We probably do need that at some point. They do have him rated higher than what I do. But we'll pick him. We do need to pick a goalie next, I would say. But yeah, this has been probably the worst draft that I've ever been a part of. Lewandowski here shows he's a 1-star, can play everything, but no improvement that it looks like. Let's go ability now. Wilkie's still there. Ranis is the best of the rest. Speed's good, but everything else kind of looks a little bit lackluster. Granted, this is in the 6th round, potentially 7th round, but I'm going to assume it's the 6th round. So we're really just shooting at anything at this point. Gallant? No. I think we're going to probably grab like the best ability-wise 18-year-old if we can find him. And there's not much. Let's go for potential now. And yeah, we're going to have to get a whole new amount of scouts here because this has been pretty bad. There's no 18-year-olds. Alright, we'll go all the way down here. I don't know if I want to trust our scouts. So 18 is round here. Cruiser. Nope. Let's see if I can filter through determination. We'll grab the highest determination person. Where is it? Determination. Start off with 18. No one's 18. Go 16. There are some, so let's go back to 17. Alright, so Stephen Wang and Lin Green are the two ones, but they're also 20. Could they improve, though, is the question. No, it doesn't look like they are projected to, so guess we have to go back to the drawing board and go one lower. See if there's an 18-year-old. So Wilm is the one of them. Determination team player. He doesn't look awful, but those seem like the only thing that he's good at. And then the last one is a goalie. No, let's take a shot on him. Let's take a shot at Danielson. Danielson will draft with the 6th round pick. And then we'll end up grabbing the guy with the best. Let's reset this. We'll grab the person that I see with the best stats, though. So Carlson with 32 points there. 51 and 54 is Carbone. Wilm with 62. That actually doesn't look that bad. You know what? We'll take a chance at Wilm here. He was the other guy that was projected. I feel as though we're gonna have the worst. Let's pick until human. I think that's it, though. Well, we're gonna be rated as the worst draft. I already know it. But hopefully, once they're on our team, it can kind of show us a better, everything in better light. And hopefully, we didn't just ruin this franchise year one of the rebuild. But we might end up having to go very heavy for next year in terms of draft picks. We should have probably done that in the first place. We should have just had this year as kind of like a feeling out process instead of going all in on it. Just because I feel as though, yeah, we didn't we didn't scout nearly as much as we should have, and we didn't invest in our scouts either. But it is saying that we had the best overall draft, while Coyotes had the worst. So Jacobson, we can probably sign immediately. I think we should. Yeah, we're going to sign him immediately. He should be able to play for our team. Team player's pretty good. Determination's not, though. But might as well get it out of the way. Get him as the first player of our franchise there. And then Nilsson, we're obviously going to leave and let marinate for a while. But it does say 5 stars, so I don't know. I feel as though they're going to be wrong there. And then Forsman as well. Yeah, it looks like everyone else here we're going to end up leaving. But I'm going to look at the depth chart to see what it's showing. Jacobson showing the top, so it feels though they do have it wrong. And yeah, I don't really see like Forsman there. And then Nilsson's at 17. So unless they see something that I haven't, maybe he ends up ballooning up. And maybe we end up doing right by that. But at least Chambers looking like he's developing pretty well, so we can probably sign him next year. But in terms of potential-wise, we can probably even get rid of him if we need to. Miroshov initially showed 5 stars at some point, but he should be good enough for our backup. And then, yeah, Jacobson can already play on the 4th line there, but it looks like we did sign Cole Perfetti. But for whatever reason, he's showing a Flyers shirt. We can trade him to anyone, so he can play for us this season. But we still need around 10 million in the bank there as well. So we do have to. Well, McTavish we can sign. We'll extend him, so at least we'll be good for next year. He wants 7 million over 2. Oof. This is going to be bad. 2 years. We're going to give him. Let's give him 6 or 5 or whatever. Wants 6 now. Alright, 6.7. That's better than 7.2. And then Lockshow's also a guy that we're going to have to grab. And Jagger as well. Jagger wants 3 mil. Over 4 years, though. I don't mind that. because he could balloon into something. But I feel as though we should offer him much less. 3.8. And we can probably we'll do 3.5. Even though we're not hurting for money, we probably will at some point. Alright, we'll meet demands at that. So 3.8 is what we end up signing him for. Letang's going to go at the end of the season. We do need defensemen, so that's going to be our top priority right now. But let's move on to the beginning of the season, and then let's see where this team is at that point. And it's the start of the season for the 2027-2028 season. Currently, this is our roster there. It doesn't look that good. We do have Blomqvist and Daigle in as our goalies. Jacobson, our recent pick, is on the fourth line currently. Ponzetto and Silverstone are our bottom line as well. Guentzel, O'Brien, and Eklund. Then we have Perfetti, Pitre, and Hemming. And then we have McTavish, Jagger, and Lockshow. I think that's just probably going to be for today. We do have Korchinski, Letang, Hudson, and Bolivo, Murray, and Pickering as our D. And I'll show you how we got those players. We end up having to do some ridiculous signings. I don't know why it all of a sudden disappeared, but we did sign we signed him for 12 million, but as soon as we end up bringing him up to our team, he ends up his money ends up going away, so he doesn't even affect the cap. So we'll move it up just for now to kind of show you. But when we end up moving him up, it just increases by that tiny margin. It shows that he's making that here, but it's not showing it up on the bottom here where the salary is involved. So we're going to move him back down to the AHL. I guess he gets put on waivers, but I highly doubt anyone's going to pick him. But back to the transactions on how we got these players. So we'll go more so with signings first. We grabbed all these players. Schmidt doesn't matter. We got Patterson here. More so just trying to fill the roster. Looks like he's going to stay up with us this year. He came from the DL with 69 points. So he does look okay. He kind of just looks mediocre, but he can cap out at 3 stars. Then we have Pitre, who looks a little bit better. I don't mind the power forwards. I do like that. I like everything's kind of he's a jack of all trades. His determination's okay as well, and he can probably play center if we really need to with his face-offs as well. So I didn't mind him as well. Ponzetto, who's another power forward as well. So it seems like we have a decent amount of power forwards. Just more so offensive and physical ratings. His defense isn't there, and his mental is not really there either. He can only replace screener, up and down, and apparently sniper, but power forward as well. And then Jackson Jacobson, that's our first round pick. Acceleration's around 16, speed 16, so he can only grow from now. We just want him to play on a roster as much as possible. I feel as though it's better suited if he plays in the NHL than he does in the WHL. So even if he ends up playing first year on our fourth line, that's good enough for me, just to kind of see how he is and what he can end up being. We got Cloutier as well. His stamina is the main focus, and then also he has a decent professionalism and good defensive read, but not necessarily a defensive player. He is a back checking forward that we're probably going to end up playing him as. Or he can play more, I guess, on the defensive role as well, counterattacking, two-way, and up and down as well. He could also play a grinder and aggressive forechecker. So he could even be with us throughout the rebuild as well. Even as he's probably more suited for a bottom line role as well. Daigle we end up grabbing. His stamina is pretty much the only thing. His poke check as well, and just his potential overall. His determination and mental toughness is okay. So his mental attributes are decent, other than his aggression. But he does look like he could be pretty decent. 907 save percentage last year, so something to build on as well. Vincent Murray is another guy that we end up grabbing. Does have around 3.5 potential there. His offensive read's pretty good, so he could be a quarterback, but we're going to probably swap him between maybe left and right D. I feel as though most of our defenders we should try and put between left and right D as much as possible. We end up getting Pesci as well, but he's going to play in the AHL this season. He has decent stick checking, decent screening, and decent bravery, but he's 16 back checking forward, so I do like that as well. He'll probably end up swapping throughout the season. Forget as well, I believe we grabbed him in other series as well. His offensive read's pretty decent, his agility there, but I think we're going to try and focus more on speed for a lot of our players. We did sign Perfetti. We did sign him for around, I think it was 8 million. Okay, so 9 million and a half a season. So we'll keep him on until we end up finding a decent trade for him, and then we'll just end up getting rid of him. But that'll probably be next season anyways, once closer to free agency when we can actually probably afford players that are coming through as well. The trades that we end up doing, we didn't really do too many trades. We just got rid of the players that you end up seeing there, so nothing fishy other than that. Extensions, we end up extending Jagger, Aremba, McTavish, and Lockshow. So next year they'll be making a little bit more. McTavish making a little bit more than what I would want, around 6.5, but we're paying him pretty much for the player that he is now and what he's done in his career. I mean, the fact that he's won a couple cups with us as well, won 2 cups, made I believe 4 finals maybe. I know he made at least 3 there with us. And then Lane Hudson as well. Lockshow doesn't really command that much, but we mainly got him so that if we do want to decide to trade him, because he is going to only be a 3-star player anyways. He does stat-wise pretty good, so maybe we end up getting rid of him to a contender, but we're definitely going to try and load up picks throughout the season. So even the players that end up starting with us might not finish with us, but I don't like his defensive rating. He can't really check, can't really hit. His defensive read is pretty good though. Shot blocking not so much, but his stamina and his acceleration are pretty good. Preseason wise, we didn't do very well. I think we only won towards the end. We lost every game except for the Arizona and Tampa Bay Lightning game. So our first game here is against Washington. So hopefully we end up beating them. But quick look at our depth chart here as well. We do have San Jose's pick. We don't have ours, so if we end up sucking this year, unfortunately, where our pick actually is, though, is right here. It's going to be to one of our rivals, fierce rivals, actually. And they have their first and our first. So if we really end up sucking, we're not only contributing to our rivals, we're also making them much better than what they should. So all we have to do is not finish towards the bottom, and we should be good. And Anderson, yeah. I thought I moved Anderson back down, but okay. So this is the team moving forward. Let's see if we can actually win some. I kind of doubt it. And we apparently win game 1. That's weird. Jackson Jacobson already starting off very good. 2 goals and 1 assist there. Pinzetto, Jacobson, Hudson, Jacobson again, and Pinzetto. Jesus. That line looks like it might be actually pretty decent. And then Hudson, oh yeah, Pinzetto, we already showed that. We do face Seattle currently first. I don't know. If we end up somehow doing very well this season, I feel that the game's absolutely broken. But this year it doesn't matter whether or not we're rebuilding or not. We just don't want to finish last or towards the very, very bottom. But we can still finish towards the bottom. If we manage to make the playoffs, I don't know really what to say. I would be absolutely shocked. But we're only going to play around like 10 games anyways to try to showcase what kind of team we end up having. With Blomqvist, though, we can probably go decent ways. He's a pretty good goalie, I will say that. We learned that last year when he almost got us a cup, but unfortunately, I don't know why they think we're going to get him. I guess they don't know that we're not going to grab anyone over the age of 25. Game 2 here, let's see if we can win this one. Somehow we're 2-0, so I find that very shocking. Perfetti getting a goal before Eklund and McTavish, and then Guentzel getting the overtime winner there. Jesus, this is very odd. I wouldn't have thought that we would have started the first 2 games and won them both. Because I imagine we can only get better from this point. Even though we've won those 2, we're still towards the bottom. So it is what it is, but as long as we don't give them like a lottery pick, I should be happy with it. We end up getting smashed. See, this is what I thought the season was going to be based on the preseason. We end up getting smashed. The only one that gets a goal is Jagger, and he gets his first goal of the season. I don't know why they think that we would criticize anyone at this point. They know we're in a rebuild. somehow the media and our owner think that we're a win now team, but kind of doubt that. I don't know where they're getting that, considering we don't really have any depth. Like everyone's like a 3-star potential at this point. So it's gonna be a fierce rebuild, but I feel as though we're gonna be a little bit busier during the trade deadline. But if we end up somehow making the playoffs, I don't know what to say really. But we'll do redress players and then we'll kind of see set the roles there. Let's give no, we'll leave Daigle out for now. See if we can win this one. Not even close. No one's scoring, so yeah, this is more like it. I feel as though we're not going to do very well, but Philly surprisingly doing well as well. Edmonton doing well. I'd be interested to see what trades they did to keep some of their players together. And what was the other team that we ended up giving our players to? I think it was oh no, I'd have to check trade-wise. We pretty much tried to trade it to 2 different teams. Who were they is the question. It was to Sharks. Sharks is the other team. And Sharks is 2-2-1. So let's see their transactions. Who did they I imagine they had to trade people. So yeah, they got Yari and think, how are they even affording this? Oh my god, okay. So they're affording this by not having anyone other than Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and Ratty there as well. Wow, they really don't have anyone. Owen Power, they somehow got him. They traded for him. My god, that was last or 2 seasons ago. Jesus, I didn't even realize that. Guess it's one of those sneaker ones that they did, but they're pretty much only under 1-year contracts, everyone. Even Evan Bouchard, he might end up having to part ways. Unfortunately, we can't get him based on the rules that we end up setting up, but Yari's only under 1 year as well. That is insane. All right, let's see if we can bounce back here. Kind of doubt it. 6-2, yeah. I think we'd be very excited to get. I'm gonna go with probably like 30 wins. If we can somehow do that, then it'd be great. We'll give Daigle a little bit of a shot here as well. We're probably gonna have to redo what we just did. But 5 games in, 2-3-0. I feel as though going to overtime and losing doesn't seem like a thing that's gonna happen. Yeah, we'll redo that. Keep having to do that because if we end up, I'm pretty sure that the AI will bump whatever player that we're paying so much money down, and we'll have to keep re-signing players like that. McTavish with 2 goals there, Jackson Jacoby with a goal as well, and then Steen with the other one, but still losing 7-4. Feels though this is going to be the worst season that anyone's ever seen. Too many like 2-star players, not enough talent as of yet though, but there is potential. There's potential to have talent. That's the most important part. But I wouldn't mind seeing, let's put Jacob Jacobson a little bit higher, but it does suck that we have so many good left wingers. Who can McTavish play center? Not really. And I don't think Guentzel can really play center either, no. But he can play right wing. So let's try it for at least 1 game. I wouldn't mind seeing Jacob Jacobson up there. We'll take off Eklund here. Let's move down Perfetti. And at least he'll get second line here. I wouldn't mind seeing O'Brien as well. We'll do AI set roles there to see if they can actually do anything. I feel as though this is going to be like 8-0. Wow, 2-1. So we actually end up winning that one in regulation. McTavish, Beliveau, and Lockshow there before Silverstone, Eklund, and Beliveau. That is very interesting that the line that we ended up moving down ended up actually getting the points there. Does leave us in 5th though. So somehow Islanders are worse, and somehow Capitals are worse as well. Who would have thought? And then San Jose. We're really banking on San Jose to suck. If San Jose can be at the bottom, then it's a good season for us. If they end up going towards the top, then it's going to be a very, very rough one. So play LA here. I doubt we win. We win 4-3, so maybe the adjustment on the Korchinski getting his first. He hasn't scored yet. McTavish getting his sixth. So it seems as though he's worth the money. 6 goals in 8 games. Not bad for a bottom team. And San Jose with 8 games there. Feels though this is we're doomed to fail this season at least. There's no way in hell that we end up making the postseason. Development report. So Nilsson, hopefully that's not our first overall one. No, but he was projected to be 37th. Apparently he's already a bust. Has him as 3 stars is what the consensus is. Our people are telling us that he's only 2-star potential. So it'll be interesting to see who's right there. Forsman is a 2-star with 3-star potential. Jacob Jacobson, I think he went down a star, but he is currently a 3-star player. Does have 4 points. Not bad, not bad. But it doesn't. I don't see anyone else. Peardom. I feel as though Peardom should be on the roster right now. We'll end up having to adjust that. I feel as though he should be up. Yeah, I'm not going to accept the fact that he shouldn't be, because look at our team. But he does play. I think he plays left wing. That's why. But he can play right wing as well. But who's the right wing that we end up moving down is the question. Letang, no. I mean, he's still better than most of the players. Emming, no, we're not going to ever let Emming go down. Eklund, we can't let go down. O'Brien, we can't either. Petre, I guess he somehow doesn't fit in this roster as of yet. Steen, Silverstone. Alright, we'll move down Silverstone. Okay, I guess we'll loan him out. Done. And then now Pearden gets to play. Good. We'll end up signing scouts and playing the next game. That'll be the last game, and then we'll move on to the trade deadline and see if we can actually make some trades here. But yeah, 8th place or 5th place in the division, not too bad. Montreal still hasn't really bounced back either, though. Maybe this 5-year rebuild to get to the finals is going to be a little bit harder than what I thought. And I feel as though Jacob Jacobson is probably not the player that we're hoping he is. But I'm very excited to be proven wrong. We do face New York next, whenever it ends up getting to that point. Feels that this is a time where there's so much information that just takes forever. Blue surprisingly up top, and then San Jose still at the bottom, but it doesn't look like the teams there are that good. Like LA Kings are 1-7-1, so I feel as though all the teams right now are just going to be god awful. So let's see. I don't like. Yeah, Jacob Jacobson's still on the bottom there. Let's see. 6-1. Wow. Jacob Jacobson getting a goal there as well. Perfetti, McTavish, and Patterson getting his first, and Jagger and Ponzetto getting another goal there as well. Not even close. How do we manage to beat Rangers? I don't understand. We do face Carolina next, but this is good though. This is a good start so that we don't supply Flyers with the top talent. But it does look like the bittersweet part is that Flyers are going to probably finish at the top of the division. Blanca's with 5 wins though. Not too bad. I just wonder if he ends up developing because of this. He's bound to face more shots. And we'll play this. This is going to be the last game, and then we'll jump to the trade deadline for next episode. We end up losing 4-2. Let's see who ends up getting the points though. Lane Hudson with Jagger and Hemming unassisted. So quick look at how well everyone's doing. We have McTavish with 11 points in 10 games. So he's fighting. He's definitely fighting to try and not make this a rebuild season, but the plus minuses are going to tell a different story this whole season. Korchinski is a -8. I feel so bad for him. Jagger in second with 9 points. Jackson Jacobson with 6 points in 10 games. Not bad for a rookie. He is around a 58 grade though. Hemming as well on his rookie season as well with 6 points. Lockshow with 6 points. Uh, Beliveau with 6 and Ponzetto with 5 and 8 games. That is actually very good. We have a bunch of rookies this season. We are definitely the youth team for sure. And Guentzel not doing as good. He is our captain currently, but 3 points is not that good. But I think he's playing at the bottom line as well. We'll take a look at our goalie stats. When Daigle went in, he was an 800 save percentage. Blomqvist also suffering as well, 889. But I don't think that's as bad considering how bad the team is. 3.37 save percentage, but we might end up moving up. Feels though that might be the choice. We'll move down Daigle. We'll move up Miroshov. Oh my god, did we send him away? He's in Russia. So I guess we can't do that. That kind of sucks. Alright, so Miroshov's in Russia now developing. Still, saying 3.5 though. So we'll end up ending it there and go to the trade deadline, but I really am not optimistic of where we're going to be. But hopefully you guys watched it. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, and thank you for watching. Until next time.